When I was 5 years old, my grandfather told me, honey, the worst thing you can ever do is be financially dependent on another human being. I took this to heart, even though I didn't fully understand its implications at the time. It was when I was in high school that my grandmother told me why Grandpa felt so strongly about this. Grandpa was the second of 10 children, and he had to quit school at the age of 12 because his father, my great-grandfather, died at the age of 43 from pneumonia. My great-grandmother was pregnant with their 10th baby when he died. My grandpa quit school at 12 to help support his mother and 9 siblings. He watched her go broke and lose their farm. He watched her have to entrust the care of several of her children to family members because she could not afford to feed them. My grandfather carried this guilt his entire life, and he vowed that his girls, his daughters and granddaughters, would never find themselves in the same situation that his mother experienced. Welcome to my channel. I'm a professor of communication, and this is my little corner of the internet. Recently, the Tradwife lifestyle has become incredibly popular online. Us Gen Xers probably know it better as the stay-at-home mom. Beautiful kitchens, homemade bread, spotless homes, and women embracing the role of full-time homemaker. There is absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying cooking, cleaning, raising children, or creating a warm home. And in fact, I think these are valuable skills that everyone should have. Everyone should know how to cook nutritious meals from scratch. Everyone should know how to do laundry, organize a home, and care for both children and aging family members. This is adulting 101, right? But there's one part of the Tradwife conversation that often gets left out of the Instagram reels, and that's financial dependence. When you become completely financially dependent on another person, even someone you love deeply, you also become vulnerable. Think about it. What happens if your husband dies unexpectedly, like in the case of my great-grandmother? What happens if he becomes disabled and can no longer work? What happens if he decides to leave the marriage? What if he has an affair? What if he develops an addiction to drugs or gaming or alcohol or gambling? What if the relationship simply becomes unhealthy, abusive, or controlling? When one person earns all of the income and controls all of the financial resources, the other person has very limited options. Even in healthy marriages, that is a significant amount of power concentrated in one person's hands. Now, many young women assume that would never happen to me. Unfortunately, thousands of women every year discover that life doesn't always go according to plan. I've been teaching in higher education for 30 years. I cannot tell you the number of women in their 30s, 40s, and beyond who have found their way into my classroom after their husband left them for his company's new receptionist or the 21-year-old bartender at his favorite watering hole. Another challenge, employability. If you've spent 10, 15, or 20 years out of the workforce, re-entering it can be incredibly difficult. Your skills may still be valuable, but employers often prioritize recent work experience. Many of the jobs that are available after a long career break are hourly positions that don't pay enough to support a household. Many don't include health insurance, many don't offer retirement benefits. You've also spent years outside of paid employment, so you have not contributed anything or maybe just a little bit to Social Security retirement benefits or other retirement savings in your own name. That's a serious long-term risk. There's another issue we don't discuss enough. Domestic work has tremendous value. Cooking, cleaning, childcare, elder care, managing a household. These jobs are real work. If you had to hire someone to do all of these things, it would cost tens of thousands of dollars every year. Yet, because this labor often isn't paid, it's frequently undervalued, often by the people who benefit from it. There seems to be a common belief among men that women who are home with their children are living a life of leisure, watching soap operas, getting manicures, and meeting their friends for coffee every day. And dare I say, many of these men have never spent the day caring for small children while cooking, doing laundry, cleaning, running errands, and the endless other things that these women do every day. This is a testament to how unvalued these responsibilities are. Additionally, the fact that they think this is easy work speaks to the fact that they've never done it, or at least they've never done it well. This is not the case in every marriage, of course. Many husbands deeply appreciate their spouse's contributions. I happen to be married to one of those men. But appreciation and financial independence are not the same thing. You can have both. You can value homemaking while still protecting yourself financially. Maybe that means maintaining your professional skills, working part-time, running a small business, building retirement savings in your own name, having access to all of the family finances, making sure both spouses understand the budget and have equal decision-making power, or simply having a plan for what you would do if life took an unexpected turn, because life does take unexpected turns. Being a homemaker is not the problem. Being unable to support yourself if circumstances change, that's the risk. Tradwife culture is constructed around two fleeting elements, youth and beauty. It's easy for a conventionally beautiful 19-year-old woman to find an equal male partner, but then life takes over. Once she's given birth to 7 babies and doesn't look the way she did on her wedding day, plus she's chronically exhausted due to lack of sleep, homeschooling, homesteading, managing the lives of 8 people, she's going to burn out, and perhaps dramatically so. And now this is assuming that everyone in the family is healthy. Things are far more complicated if any of the children have medical conditions or some type of special need. Then there's a chance he's going to get bored or frustrated or overwhelmed by the relentless responsibilities of financing this huge family. And he's going to seek attention elsewhere, attention that doesn't come with the responsibilities that await him at home. And then what is Mrs. Tradwife going to do? Women at my station in life have watched this happen over and over again. Those are the women who find themselves at 50 with no money, no academic credentials, and nothing of market value to put on a resume. Does that sound glamorous? And this is not feminist propaganda. This is the reality for thousands of women. Women who married saying, "He'd never do that to me." Nobody ever thinks it will happen to them when they're madly in love and planning a wedding. There's a reason trad culture uses young women in their campaigns and not women in their 40s and 50s. Once you've lived some life, you're not nearly as idealistic. The life of an average 48-year-old trad wife is anything but glamorous. Most of us don't live in the same tax bracket as the Real Housewives. Many trad wives stay in unhappy marriages because they cannot afford to leave. They have nowhere to go and no money or other financial resources in their name. They're trapped. I think we need to stop framing this as a choice between career or traditional wife. There is a middle ground. You can build a beautiful home and raise beautiful children. You can make homemade meals. You can embrace traditional values if that's what fulfills you. And at the same time, you can make sure you have the education, skills, savings, and experience to stand on your own if you ever need to. That's not a lack of trust. It's good planning. Just like wearing a seatbelt doesn't mean you expect to get in a car accident. Preparing for difficult possibilities isn't pessimism. It's responsibility. My grandfather died suddenly from an aneurysm when I was 7. He and my grandmother ran a small lumber company for about 25 years and had sold the business shortly before he died. They were in their early 60s and they had so many plans for their retirement, and my grandmother was an equal partner in their business. Grandpa ran the sawmill, Grandma managed the money. And when he died, she was devastated, but her life was anything but over. Her name was on everything, 50-50. She outlived him by 30 years. She was an amazing nurturer, housekeeper, baker, and one hell of a businesswoman. When she was a teenager, she had wanted to move to Madison to go to the University of Wisconsin and study mathematics and history. Her parents told her no, because she was going to get married and that was going to be her life. And in the 1930s, it was rare for a girl to get a college education, especially farm girls from rural Reedsburg, Wisconsin. She never made it to Madison, but she married a man who valued her deeply, respected her intellect, and she was his true partner in life and business. Their story, I believe, is the example we need to be sharing with our young people, not the glitzed up cosplay of dominance and submission promoted by the Tradwife movement. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a respectful conversation. Please like this video, subscribe, and share with anyone you believe can benefit from it. I'll see you soon.